Greetings, everybody, and welcome to That Game Place Live. We've got so much for you today, and we're celebrating. We are celebrating. We have 1K, well, more than 1K now, almost 1,200 people in the first few days. It's all because of you. You are amazing, and we're here for you today to talk about some stories that we haven't quite yet covered, or maybe a little bit. We haven't really quite yet covered on the channel in video form. More videos on the way. We may even start doubling up. We've got so many stories out there, and just time seems to get away. But with a smaller panel today, is part of our celebration. I'm going to introduce the two gentlemen that are here at the beginning and possibly others that will join along the way. These are my pals. These are my team members. These are the persons that are working for you. First up, we've got Space Dave 2000. What's going on, Space Dave?
Lots of good things, especially I am extremely ecstatic about this number of people that we have gathered. I am so happy that this game place has done so well. And it's all due to you, Culture, your hard work, I gotta say. You are a workhorse, sir, and you are appreciated.
Okay, now that's very kind of you, but I'll say this. The intro that everybody just watched, that little short intro, that wouldn't have been possible without Space Dave. He's the one that put all that video game footage in my lap so that I could make that up really, really quickly. Thank you for that, Space Dave.
I'm blushing.
Yeah.
I'm blushing.
You should. You know what? I actually updated your surprise Pikachu face. So when the video you and I did, which will be coming out here soon, by the way, yeah, you have a great surprise Pikachu face. You just haven't seen it yet.
Awesome.
All right. Speaking of which, we're going to move on to Marvin, the movie monster, who's really dominating two channels now, Tooneytown TV and Tooneytown Wrestling. How's it going today, Marvin?
Oh my goodness, 1,000 subscribers. It feels like just 7 days ago we were doing the inaugural launch of this channel, and now here we are. How time flies. I mean, what a hearty, big congratulations that I have to give to myself for my obvious star power that has drawn so many people to this channel in such a short amount of time. So another Marvin the Movie Monster victory. I am just singing my own praises. Now, that Culture, you and Jonas and the whole team here, Space Dave, we've all been working together to just, make this the best possible gaming channel it can be. And onward and upward from here.
And we actually cover gaming news, and we don't, pour sugar or honey in people's ears and tell them that everything's fine and don't, pay attention to all the bad things happening in gaming. But do you know what's good?
Maybe you do, Culture. I'm here to spread my social messaging.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not spreading anything. You know what? You should probably go get that looked at. Anyway, really quickly, by the way, guys, it's PG channel, so to keep it in bounds. I just want to say this. I got to say we got the best audience in the world. You got John, the Beagle Dad out there. We got Josh Hammond with us today. There's Morgan King. We've got Film Watcher 96, Slender Dad. What's up, Slender? You got the Gaming Dude. What's up? We got Shrap 3D out there. We got more stuff on the way. We got the Little Mouse. Hello, Little Mouse. Let's see. Who else rolled through the door? Just a couple more people to acknowledge before we fire into our first story. Of course, there's Elaine Sims. Good day. Congrats on 1K. Now on to 100K. I love what you're thinking. I love what you're thinking, and I love your avatar. That's cool. I want to say that Shrap 3D's out there. Saw a video of somebody who did a remake of original Zelda, like Echo style. It looked boss. I have a surprise for you, a video from Nolan Thunder and I coming out here real soon. I just finished the edit on. Oh no, we lost Space Dave. He'll be back. He'll be back. But yeah, there's a lot going on out there, and those new ports are all over the place. We got Captain Phantom Nerd out there with us. There's Nolan saying hi. He did a great job yesterday on that video. Cannot wait to release it to you all. We've got Cocho Dragon, showtime. That's right. We got Singin' Ferret. What's up, Singin' Ferret? Let's see who else popped in. Joseph's Froscos, good to see you. And the Salty Lighthouse. Ooh, yeah. I think most salty I think lighthouses would all be salty. I don't know, but that's cool. That's cool. We got Mars Monkey.
It'd be in the air, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Can you feel the salt in the air? I don't know. We got Erica out there. Hello, Erica. Greetings. Thank you. Capitano Cavalryman Che wants me to play Elden Ring. It seems like that I haven't yet. I probably should, but here's the problem, and I'm going to admit something live in front of all of these amazing people. From Software games are hard.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yeah, I got it. I started playing it. It wasn't enough like story to hold my attention. I'm sure there's a rich story in there somewhere, but
Yeah.
it's more like open-ended and I don't know, I like to play. I'm a story guy. I like to play games for the story. So, it just didn't grab me.
Yeah. I really want to get into it, so maybe I'll do this and sacrifice myself to the From Software powers.
You know what? If you do it, I'll do it, and we can compare notes on how we're doing.
Sounds fantastic. Butterbiscuit, what's going on? We got Mars Monkey Max. I think I already said hi to Gaming Dude, but Jared Markham's out there. What's up? The return of Space Dave.
I'm sorry. I was having problems on my space shuttle and the signal got cut off.
It's fine. Those space issues. Hey, the Raz Grizz 3D is here. Congrats, guys. Well, thank you. And thank you for being here. And all the congratulations need to be directed at the entire team who's killing it. What's up, 80s man? Look at Alf. He approves. Argentum. Gonna be lurking while working. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. Let's see who else is out there. Let's see. Scott Shook, what's up? Hail to the chat. Hail to you. And, of course, Slender Dad. So what about the Great Lakes? They have lighthouses and are freshwater. That's true.
Those are not so salty.
Yeah, well, it didn't help the Edmund Fitzgerald, though, I don't think. Anyway, Tipping Barn, good to see you out there, my friend. Wow, Marvin, you're looking more hairier. Oh. Hi, Culture. I guess you and I are easily confused. I'm just less old.
If I had a nickel for every time someone says, "Aren't you Culture Casino?" I would, I'd have 15 cents.
Probably. JB Spooky Review. Where's Jonas? Jonas's stuff and things. It's okay. He'll be back very soon. I think he just finished recording his 1200th video of the day with Vash. So yeah. Anyway, sorry, Space Dave. Go ahead.
I was just saying life happens. He's, even Jonas, he gets once, every 12 years, he gets a break.
He gets a break. Yeah, he gets one. J, the only alphabet letter you need to know. J, how much longer till memberships? I'm going to answer in the best possible movie quote ever. Soon. How's that? Secret identity revealed. Probably. All right.
Maybe they think you're just like a ventriloquist and you're just like throwing your voice right now when I talk.
I am, but
or maybe you're the puppet and I'm the ventriloquist.
All of that's true.
Now we're getting
twist. M Night. Yeah, M Night Shyamalan and up in this house.
Shyamalan twist.
All right. Okay, everybody calm down. We have a story to get to. Actually, we got 4 stories for you and maybe a bonus one. I'll find one, maybe throw one in there. But look, this is a very serious subject, and it's one of the reasons it's in the title of the show and while we're kicking off with it. We're not going to bury the headline today, folks. No. And the headline isn't just that we have 1K, thanks to all of you. In fact, we're at almost 1,200, I think. Thank you. I mean, we're very appreciative. This is great. We're going great guns. Can't wait to get to the point where we can do live streams, play games for you, with you, all that. We've got some game reviews that are coming up here shortly. I'm very excited about that. The different members of the team are working on for you. But we've also got this story. So not to delay any longer, let's jump in. That's right, folks. We are jumping right into it's time to start trusting video game reviewers again.
Says video game reviewer.
Hey, guys. We're good. Just pay attention to us, please. Oh, look, you can't blame the gamer for this, and I certainly don't. It's true. I mean, there are good video game reviewers out there. You can trust some of them. They usually have a pretty balanced take, but then again, you have the extremes, which seem to get all the attention. And we just want to talk about games. We just want to talk about good video games. let's jump into the story. This is 5 days ago that Ben Siege wrote this over there at TheGamer. It is this. Games journalists often beat difficult games, but face criticism and abuse for their reviews. Okay. Maybe they do. I've never seen video game reviewers beating difficult games. I've heard them talk about difficult video games. I think one of the reasons that G4 TV fell apart again was because they weren't really playing the games. Am I wrong?
No, G4 TV fell apart. Yeah, it fell apart because they were using it as a sounding board for social issues, and they weren't actually playing the games that they were talking about.
Right. And you know what blows my mind, Culture?
No,
is that they had been doing it probably since time began. So, and we didn't know until recently that that's what they were doing. So, mind blowing.
Well, and to be fair and honest, I mean, I love G4 TV way back when. The iteration that just recently failed inside of 2 years that had no Chris score, which is their first problem, it was all because they literally weren't doing game journalism. And Marvin, you're right. Social commentary it was. Okay, so
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I love Chris Gore, but Olivia Munn, a little bit. I would like her to have been on there. You know
she would have been great. You put Chris Gore, Olivia Munn. What was the other young lady's name? She was brilliant. But yeah, the old G4 was great. No. What is wrong with you? You got rid of Olivia Munn for that lady. And you know what? She's not even in gaming anymore. She went from being an esports commentator to G4 and then disappeared out of the industry. So
that's what happens when you kill an entire network single-handedly.
Yeah. Maybe so. But the second bullet point here is that the myth that games journalists hate video games is false. They're passionate about the medium. And, well, I'm not going to fight them on that because maybe they are just not the medium that most of the gamers appreciate. That's how I'd state that. And then the third bullet point is to find trustworthy game critics, look for those with similar tastes and opinions to yourself. That's why you guys are here. That's why there's a bunch of you in the chat right now saying thanks and congratulations. I'm saying thanks to all of you. But yeah, this is going to be a problem. I already see this coming. I've got challengers in the chat. Don CK wants to challenge me to one-on-one Destiny 2. All right. I'll have to figure out how to get that going. You play that on PlayStation, right? Yeah. I think I'll be good. Yeah. I didn't play the first one at all. I didn't play it to death. Anyway, sorry. But let's get back to it. We got a few more things to talk about. We got, I get it. Games journalists are terrible at video games. Remember that one guy playing Cuphead? Let's ignore the fact that the games journalists regularly beat entire games in a far shorter time span than regular people who don't have deadlines to meet. Okay, I'm gonna offer an alternative to this. Games journalists probably don't see all of the content in a game. They may beat them quicker, but they really don't do side quests or anything else because games are time consuming. They're designed to be that way. I'll give you an example. How long do you think it takes, Marvin or Space Dave, to beat something like Grand Theft Auto 5? You think you're going to figure that out in 5 hours?
No, I've done multiple playthroughs of that. That's impossible. So.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, look, it's if you just try to get through the storyline, not even then. But I mean, like if you're trying to do everything, then absolutely not.
Yeah, and so you've got all these other missions. You have missions that require other missions. But I mean, I think the minimum playthrough time for the main story is estimated to be 50 hours. I think the fastest way you could do it would be about 32. And that's skipping all the other cool things and not paying attention to managing your resources, like the stocks when you do a mission for Lester, for the betterment of humanity, like the Life Invader mission. But I just don't think you could get anything out of it if you weren't trying to do the side missions. So maybe you beat the game, but...
And why would you want to rush through a game like that? That game has so much, depth to it. You want to play all those side missions because it adds to the characters and the storylines.
Right.
Yeah, Scott.
And I'm by no means a completionist when it comes to these things. Like my wife is a completionist, and so it takes her. She's been playing Breath of the Wild for like a year. But it still would take me a lot longer than that to get through Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2, that took me like a week. I mean, but I wasn't rushing. I wanted to see everything. It was beautiful landscape. The people that built that game did it for a good job. But real quickly, Scott Summers, I want to answer your question. Will you have special guests? Yes, I'm actually doing a very special interview with a game developer here, I think tomorrow or perhaps day after tomorrow. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Somebody who works in the industry and has for quite some time. We're going to talk about, well, everything in the game. But we'll also have special guests live on these live shows in the future. So stick around. May I request at least one or two? Of course. We'll definitely have that. Speaking of G4, what is wrong with Olivia? Nothing is wrong with Olivia. That was the point.
No, I think they probably thought we were talking about Olivia when we were talking about Frosk.
Frosk?
No.
Yeah.
They get mistaken for each other so often, much like Culture and myself.
Mm-hmm. And then as far as live gameplay, we will live gameplay not just with the team, but we'll also have the ability to play with our viewers, with our members and stuff. So yeah, we, like I said, starting this up, this is a big train to get running. So let's get all the cars moving full speed, and we will. We plan to go great guns and probably expand beyond even what we plan to do now. So we're excited about that.
I'm going to just throw the gauntlet down now, Culture, and challenge you guys to Halo, whatever version you want. Let's do it. Come on.
All right.
That would involve getting an Xbox.
Oh, come on.
Okay, this is weird, Don CK, because like you would think that First Descendant would have had a brilliant launch day and followed it up with a subsequent wonderful second day. Yeah. Yeah. Look, one of the biggest problems with games as a service or games that require constant server contact, and unfortunately multiplayer games like this via the internet always do, is you're so heavily reliant on servers to be an interchange for all that information. You may not have enough capacity to handle your demand. It's a good problem to have, but a frustrating one for the people who bought into the game. So I hear that. Anyway, let's keep going because I want to get through this article because we've got 3 others and we've been going for almost 20 minutes now. But here we go. Turn a blind eye to the fact that they don't have a single guide to help them beat a difficult boss or access an area with some abstruse entry method like drinking poison that kills you at any other time. Forget about the fact that they beat them before the patches arrive to make the game easier. Well, usually the patches are just fixing issues like, you remember the release of Cyberpunk 2077, right? That wasn't exactly a complete game when we got it. So I would say everybody had struggles. All right, so here we go. They also hate video games or choose to cover this beat because they want to destroy the entire industry. Again, he's kind of, talking about the claims that are made against reviewers. It doesn't matter that wages are low across the sector and crunch is rife, especially when reviewing 100-hour games with bafflingly tight turnarounds. We hate video games and we can't wait to tear them down. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Look at this game. What's this game, guys?
What is
on
that?
The screen?
Is that Elden?
It looks neat.
No, I don't know what that is. Sorry. I'm not much of an artist.
It might be Elden Ring, is it?
It looks kind of like Elden Ring, but we could get burned in the chat.
That is definitely a From Software game. So, but anyway, the myth that games journalists not only suck at video games, but also actively hate the medium is one that I've never understood. However, the issue with game reviews is much easier to parse. Gaming in 2024 is team-based. Your Team Xbox, Team PlayStation, Team Fortnite, Team Call of Duty, Team Stellar Blade, or Team Censorship. I think Team Censorship is winning right now.
I mean, is he trying to say that the world is tribal? Because wow, what a news flash!
It's a nuance that we've never heard of before. That's true. Yeah, it's definitely
like breaking news.
Yeah, it's definitely Elden Ring.
Oh, we called it right.
Well, I think it was pretty obvious. There's a major problem with games marketing that fuels this feudal misery. Hype trailers for game years away from release whip fans into a fervor, which is true. And the excitement heightens to a level where any criticism of the game is seen as a personal slight. Calling Stellar Blade's protagonist Eve boring meant that you're part of the pro-censorship wokerati who can't stand a beautiful woman leading a game. That seems weird, right? I'm sure everybody loves a beautiful woman leading a game. Right?
Years and years of Tomb Raider games would back that up.
Joanna Dark.
Yeah, and here's somebody. Here's his note saying, "There's another issue here to do with reading comprehension and media literacy. But I won't go into that today." He just called out his whole audience.
Yeah. Keep tearing them down, buddy. It'll get you brownie points.
All right, so let's get into this one. Team Elden Ring got mad last week when a couple of reviews said that it was too difficult. Accusations flew across the Twitter sphere. The critics behind said reviews were told in no uncertain terms to get good and suffered far worse abuse. Like what? Oh, wait. As misogynistic as it was vitriolic.
Oh, was this when the lady decided to say that having children was a disability that she needed accessibility features for?
Perhaps, maybe that was some of the problem with the game.
That was about
that
was about Elden Ring. Yeah,
the new DLC.
That was about Elden Ring. People tore her up.
Yeah, Cuphead has been brought up again. All right. First and foremost, there are games that are hard, right? From Software, I just admitted at the beginning of the stream, for a reason, makes hard games. They're difficult.
Mm-hmm.
They take time to figure out how to manage the patterns and everything else. Some games are challenging because you have to manage the loot system because they limit the amount of slots that you have to carry stuff. There's a whole lot of things nuances that are part of games that make them challenging. In the case of From Software, challenging games, that's why gamers play them. So, having somebody come out and say, get good. Do you know how many times I've heard get good when I'm getting my booty kicked in Dark Souls 3? I had the audience
That's the nicest thing. That's the nicest thing you're going to hear.
I mean, to be honest, though, there is a bit of truth to saying that, you are limiting your audience if you can't finish the game. Let's just be honest there. Because if you're getting halfway through and you're frustrated and you put it down and you don't continue, you're not going to, feel satisfied. You're not going to recommend that game to others, right? You're going to you can say get good all you want, but I mean, there's get good and then there's just insanely difficult and purposely difficult, right? And you have to kind of, if you want to shrink your audience into a funnel, then make it super impossible. But if you want to make it more accessible and therefore sell more units, you're kind of going to find a little more middle ground on issues like that, I believe, and that's just my opinion. But I mean, I grew up in the NES days where it seemed like every other game was impossible or very difficult, and it's very frustrating because you don't want to continue to play that game. You might see it as a challenge and want to, but not everybody, right? Some kids are just playing, and some people just want to play to have fun. And put some challenge, because with challenge comes reward when you conquer that. But if it's impossible or near impossible, then I get it. I get that point of view, at least in my opinion.
But you know what? Not everything has to be for everybody. Sometimes there are things that are difficult. So if you want to play easy games, that you can dumb the Spider-Man games down to the point where you barely have to touch the controller. You could turn off every QTE. You can, there are so many accessibility features on games now that, I mean, there are plenty of games for people that just want an easy story-based experience. And look, sometimes I'm one of them. Sometimes I'll play a game and I'll turn the difficulty way up and I'll want a challenge. But sometimes I'm like, you know what? I just want to experience the story today. And I'm going to turn on auto win QTEs and stuff like that. But I don't need every game to cater to that. And Elden Ring, I started playing it. I didn't love it. I didn't like that there was not a lot of story in your face. I didn't like how hard it was. I stopped playing it. I'm not going to say that the gaming industry should shift to my perspective.
But I'm just saying, don't be surprised if you don't sell as many copies, right?
I 100%, and I get that. I get all that. It's fine to have a niche.
Yeah, but gentlemen, we got to keep moving forward. You are both correct.
Sorry.
It
We're
is
too opinionated. Sorry.
no, you're fine. It's just we got to get through this. And the audience is making some great points in the chat. I mean, if you look at it, Lord Thondar says they should have made story mode. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Sony put a patent together for games that you basically can make play themselves. So that it'll help game reviewers who like to watch and observe games and maybe lightly participate. That will allow them to do that in that kind of a story mode per se. This is something that's actually being done in the industry, and I think we covered it before we had a channel, or at least I did, and I think Jonas probably did before we had this channel available. Now, when we get stories like that, we'll be able to talk about it. But if they want to sell more games, that may be one way to do it. In fact, Lord Thunder was backing up what Space Dave says. If you want to sell more,
Yeah, I agree with Marvin. Just scale your game to,
Yeah.
and then as you said, Marvin, when you can do that, little kids can play too, and they're Spider-Man fans. So yeah, good on them.
But I know this, that when we continue on to this, it's not just a problem with Elden Ring, because somebody in the chat said it's not just Elden Ring. No. Kaylee Page reviewed Cyberpunk 2077 for GameSpot. That's going back a ways. And like I said, that game had some trouble. She was hounded by thousands of players for pointing out the game's negatives, which it had many when it started. She didn't like the edgy aesthetics that played no meaningful part in the gameplay, so she was labeled prude. Well, I could say that there wasn't really a need for a whole lot of the things that were in there that were blatant. In fact, I did a video today with John Trent over for the Trent Report that talks about like pushing the boundaries of the extremes. But labeling her a prude, hard to say. She pointed out offensive depictions of minorities. Well, it was offensive to her, but in the construct of the video game, I mean, this is a problem. You can definitely have an opinion, because that's an opinion. I guess she was called an SJW. She called out technical issues, obvious even on PC, so she suffered a barrage of hatred. I think everybody agreed with her on that. I don't think anybody had a useful or fun experience the first week or 2 weeks of Cyberpunk, unless you had a monster like, I happened to have at the time, with like the top end video card. You were struggling, and there were still video glitches and other problems. Yeah, it's very strange. So,
yeah, it is. People are very defensive over the things that they love. As somebody who criticizes professional wrestling companies as part of his living, I can tell you that people get very, very, very defensive. So I understand like the frustration of like being critical of something and then having people attack you for it. So I do understand this point.
And Slender Dad makes the same kind of a point. You can't have a fantasy world with real life morality, especially a dystopian world like that. And again, I there's another great video coming out specifically about Cyberpunk, and its successor, since they're working on that. That's going to be coming out here in the next day or so. But Plague was at the receiving end of a whirlwind of abuse from gamers excited for CD Projekt Red's new title, 8 years in the making. Their excitement, as well as the marketing campaign, blinded them from seeing fair criticism as exactly that, fair. Well, two of the things he mentioned were opinion, not criticism. I don't know her, but I imagine that Plague was excited to play the game too. Games journalists and critics like games, and yet her 7 of 10 reviews sparked days of collective outrage.
7 out of 10 is not a bad. That's not a bad. Yeah, I would play. I would consider it positive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind. 7 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is so true, some loser. Given that the game bricked a good number of PCs, I don't think people gave her flack for that. Yeah, no, not that part. I think everybody would have agreed. I was raging about it. I'm like, this is dumb. And then it would crash, and even on my monster, it would crash. And I was like, come on now. But anyway, we'll keep going. So,
also, like getting so worked up over somebody's opinion on a game, it's subjective. It's not objective reality. Like opinions are opinions, and they're meant. I can't even. Sorry, continue.
You're
It's my common rant.
And look, look, there's a reason this perception exists, right? Slender Dad says, do they though? Do they enjoy games? Because game journalists and critics seem to dislike games a lot of the time. And for all of its faults, I mean, I can go back and play even the Fallout 76 game, right? It's not fun because it's not got the player base that it used to have, and it took them forever to get around all of the issues that the players were asking for, and then they wanted to charge for them because it's Bethesda, and they won't get any better now that they've changed ownership. But still,
But Culture, he said it would just work, and it's got 16 times the details. I don't know what you're talking about, man. That game was...
Man, dude, everything that they've done, they say silly stuff all the time. He is just silly. They needed to like get a really high quality game engine and start from the ground up with that. And,
but then we wouldn't have like millions of memes on the internet. What would we do then?
That's true. He was a memery. Opinions are like places to stick things. Anyway, this is a PG channel, guys. So here we go. What gives? At what point do you start trusting game critics and those who review your games? As much as you think we're different to you, that we have different agendas and want to tear down the things you love, we're not. We love video games. We wouldn't do this job otherwise. But we have to be honest about our opinions, okay? You can have an opinion, but you have to be prepared to take the brunt of it if the vast majority of people don't agree, which is why I wanted this article for today. So find someone with similar opinions to you. While Eurogamer's reviewer found the DLC so difficult it spoiled their experience, our reviewer relished From Software's seemingly insurmountable challenge. I play myself and review a lot of RPGs and text-heavy games because I'm a book nerd at heart. If you, too, like these sorts of games and welcome valid criticism of the genre, you can check out his page, which I won't plug here. And here we go. You're about to be educated, folks. Get ready. This is how to navigate the landscape media. Find someone your tastes align with or whose criticism you enjoy reading. Find your Roger Ebert. Don't look at the biggest reviews on the biggest sites because you lack important context about the person behind the webpage. You can expect their review to be, don't just look at that. You can expect their review to be fair and balanced, but it will be entirely subjective. Reviews are opinions, after all. You need to dig a little deeper to understand whether this is a perspective that is similar to yours. If your favorite reviewer writes for an independent zine, go for it. That might be more valuable to you than IGN or TheGamer write-up. Well, you just put yourself out of a job because they're tacitly, and correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, tacitly saying, go be tribal. Don't listen to any other opinions than the one person you agree with.
It's called an echo chamber, right?
Yes. So, yeah. Dude, I can assure you right now that myself, Marvin, and Space Dave do not share the same opinions on video games, whatever they would happen to be. I would think that, certain games are masterpieces and they would disagree. And that's kind of the point, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to put this channel together. Anyway, this guy is just giving you a lesson on how to be a better consumer of your tribal media.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with that sentence right there, but no game journalist is out to get you. I think some are. I think
it
hasn't always been that way, but it is more frequently.
Exactly. And we actually have a story that we're going to get into in a few moments about that. Very good advice, but not all angles of reviewing are opinion-based, like this game is buggy. Well, yeah. I mean, it would seem like that's pretty obvious, right, Mr. Tickletron? You don't look for people with the same views as you. You do so with the same tastes and game types. See, that might have been a better way to say that. Mr. Tickletron's a pretty bright guy.
It's a good point.
If you remove the tribal part, it's good advice. Find people with your tastes. Personal politics are bad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, let's say you don't appreciate turn-based games, right? You don't like Civilization, right?
You'd be wrong, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
You're not gonna, you mean you're not gonna be looking for a person's opinion who that's all they ride on most of the time, and then they come up and they ride on a first person shooter. It'd be kind of odd, right? So it would immediately put you in a position where you're like, this person doesn't know what they're talking about. I think that makes more sense. So anyway, gentlemen, should we trust game reviewers again?
I think it depends on the game reviewer, and it depends on the outlet.
Yeah.
I mean, am I like you look at places like IGN, which will repeatedly run interference for big studios. I'm less likely to believe something they're going to say. I'm less likely to believe something that comes out of Alyssa McConaughey's mouth. But you know, I'm more likely to believe something out of somebody. From a smaller channel or a smaller publication that is reviewing things based on merit alone and not injecting themselves into it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does.
I don't think saying. I was just gonna say I don't think saying trust game journalists as a blanket statement is a good thing for anyone.
Oh no, I agree with you there. But I do know this: the gaming dude enjoys playing WWE 2K24 on PS4. That's cool.
I do too. Or I play it on PS5.
Yeah. I think look, I mean, you're going to have people that like wrestling games, you're going to have people that don't. You're going to like people that like all sports games, even the basketball ridiculousness, and some people don't. I still think the basketball thing has a lot of broken mechanics in it and not great depth, but hey, what do I know? I used to play Madden religiously. So, anyway. Sorry, I had to cough. Hang on.
Oh.
Well, that's a terrible live stream thing to do. But we need
I was
to
about to take control.
Yeah,
you could, actually. It'd be fun. Thanks for being here, Lord Thunder. I appreciate it. Marvin making a good point. Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Yeah.
I don't understand the joke at the end there, but I do like that he said I made a good point.
I don't believe Half-Life 3 is ever going to come, but we've had stories.
That's a whole topic on itself. We could go probably an hour just talking about Valve in itself and Half-Life.
Aren't
very interesting history?
Yeah. I love Valve, but that's a whole other conversation.
I did love Valve, but they became what they didn't. They kind of touted they weren't. Quickly became what they touted they weren't. So, and I'll say the word creative. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, this is a good question, and I don't know the answer to it because I haven't played the Yakuza in a bit. Did the Yakuza games become turn-based? The new ones? Anybody know?
I do not know. Sorry,
I don't know. I haven't played the newer ones. You know what? I have most of them like sitting on my PS5, and I haven't played any of them yet, just because they came with PlayStation Plus. So yeah, I'll let you know when I start playing them.
Yeah. Slender Dad makes a point here and says, I'm one of those rare all-rounder gamers. I like them too. I play RPGs, colony builders, you name it. I mean, who doesn't like that?
Gaming dude saying, I'm with Rod Thunderhard here. I am a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth guy too. I just started my 4th or 5th replay of it.
Here we go.
I mean, I pretty much finish that game and then I start the game again.
Oh, Slender Dad says they are turn-based and they're pretty good, but there's predatory monetization, and I hate that. Games as a service.
I do hate that.
Games as a service is evil, and you know what? Sure I dare you to have a different opinion.
I'm not against DLC, but I do not like monetization like that.
I like DLC when it is something in addition to like if it's like a new story that takes place after the main game. If it's something that like adds and further enriches the in-game experience of the main storyline, I don't like that. That's predatory to me because that says to me you released an incomplete game.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
But if it's like one like to bridge the gap between this game and the sequel, I'm all for that.
No,
Mr. Tickle Trunk pushes back on our Half-Life 3 opinion. Half-Life Alyx for VR was Half-Life 3.
No. I
don't think so.
I disagree 100%.
So. Yeah, I mean, you were always going to have a limited player base and everything else, but it is what it is. Josh is back playing Batman Arkham Knight. That's cool.
That's a great series.
I do love that game. I mean, I don't love the Batmobile parts, but I love everything else.
Jeremiah Hembry's been through Final Fantasy 16 about 9 times.
That's
awesome.
a great game. Honestly, I got to go through it a second time because I loved my first playthrough of that. It was Final Fantasy Game of Thrones, and I was all for it.
Yeah, and Davina says, it really depends. Some DLC practices are clearly predatory. I think most of them are. The games industry is all about revenue and not spending a lot to get said revenue, which is one of the reasons why WoW suffered over time, but that's a different conversation. We'll get into that someday, I assure you. Yeah, the VR gimmick was the problem. And VR, not all the time, but like I said, I was asked today about my favorite controller, and I like the VR paddle controllers for the Vive. So the
problem with the VR is it's been around since I'm sure all of us were kids, and the promises it's made have been very shortcoming. Like, I mean, they've been talking about it. Like, remember Lawnmower Man and all these different things. They said, "Oh yeah, VR would be like this," and it's.
Do you remember the Power Glove?
Yeah,
I mean, it was garbage, hot garbage. But yeah, things are getting better. It's just I feel like the problem is that you have to have tactile response.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you need to have a way to make all the haptics work on your body. And because of the ability for these new what do you call them? Flooring systems to like move in every direction. I think that's the other thing that it needs is the ability to walk and actually make progress. And
yeah, because otherwise you're running right into walls. Because how many videos have you seen of somebody getting too into it and then they're swinging their arms like crazy and destroying something?
And you need inside out systems so that you don't need a bunch of sensors and you're not bumping into walls and all of that. But anyway, we've gotten wildly off track. We have more stories that I want to get to, gentlemen. And let me tell you, they're all related to games journalism, which is why we need to step it up. But at the same time, we don't have to step it up because John over at That Park Place has written some great stories for That Game Place. And the next story that we want to jump into, gentlemen, is this one from a famous senior editor over there at Kotaku. Yes, that's right. Alyssa Mercante is back. But this time she's not going after, like, a game specifically. She's going after a YouTuber, a gamer, a reasonable person.
The gaming industry is having another Alyssa Mercante flare-up.
Yeah. Yeah, well, this is a flare-up. She says this, Kotaku senior editor Alyssa Mercante passive-aggressively attempts to get YouTubers Smash JT canceled from San Diego Comic-Con. And look, this is all very true. This is a person who, in light of any, criticism or challenge, will just go to cancel culture. So the story John writes is Alyssa Mercante, senior editor of Kotaku, in one of her best faces right there, certainly attempted to passive-aggressively get YouTuber Smash JT canceled from San Diego Comic-Con. Smash JT revealed on X that he would be attending San Diego Comic-Con and shared 2 press passes in a photo. It says, "Let the hype begin." There you go. And there it is. Those are press passes. They're fancy.
They are indeed press passes.
Yep. Mercante reacted to the post sharing a thinking face emoji with an image that reads, "My gosh, there's room for everybody. Let's just say that."
Ugh.
In subsequent posts, she added, "Just hope SDCC is aware of how many press folks attending the con this man has harassed/slandered. If I was attending this year," why aren't you attending this year, Alyssa? We'll ask that question again in a moment, but sorry. If I was attending this year, I'd be appalled to walk into the press lounge and see the man who makes thumbnails of me and my colleagues' cleavage for his videos, in which he just calls us some. What was the word you were going to use, Marvin?
Lady of the Night.
There you go. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, if you look into Alyssa's former
Occupation?
occupation, and you look up the dictionary definition of that word, then I don't think you could even community note that thumbnail.
So Marvin, was she part of the OF culture, if you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I believe, in fact, she was.
Not surprised.
And I'm not saying, look, I don't think if that's how you want to make your money, go make your money like that, but don't then hold yourself up as someone who's above that.
Yeah, look, Black Saber would know because Black Saber's a writer. Hence the shark of paper. LOL, they want to start a new Gamergate to stay relevant. Well, they've been trying. It hasn't stuck. Gamers are really pushing back. Gamergate 2, Electric Boogaloo.
The regating.
Got a hot chat today. Hot chat.
There you go. There you go. She probably wasn't invited, says Joseph Froscos. You know, garden tools. Thank you. Yeah. Anyway.
Gamergate 2, the secret of you lose.
Yeah, no kidding. But anyway, so she says the following in a separate post. Anyway, if you're at San Diego Comic-Con and hear a voice that can only be described as a phobic Muppet, that's Jeff. I know, that's Jeff Tarzia. I think that's how you say it.
Now she's using racial slurs.
She's slandering this guy.
Yeah. And
I think she blocked me on X because she called someone a Muppet, and I like yelled at her for using racial slurs.
Yeah, she doesn't understand. You know, I mean, she's going after people of the cotton persuasion, and I won't have it.
We prefer fabricated Americans, Alyssa. Thank you very much.
Well, and you know what? And I hang out with fabricated Americans all the time. I've got Wilton and Floral and you and Snowdub. I mean, you know, I find them more comforting than regular Americans.
I think they're more mentally well balanced than
these
people. So,
So she added, check his phone and count how many pictures of me he has saved, please. I don't know that he would save them on his phone.
Like, she's just deranged. She just keeps going. Like, stop. Like stop with your war against everybody. It's ridiculous. It's like she has to keep herself in the public conversation while saying that she doesn't want to be in the public conversation. She's like the South Park episode about Harry and Meghan Markle with the "We want privacy. We want privacy."
Yeah. Stop the Muppet hate. Thank you, Davina. I knew you were on our side.
Yep.
She almost called Marvin a sock. Oh, no.
That would have been it. The gloves would have been off. I would have had it kicked off of Twitter for that.
Postum says Muppet Lives Matter. Yes, they do. Yeah. Fuzzy logic. Yes. I like fuzzy logic. She wishes everyone was obsessed with her. Yes.
She wishes that everyone was obsessed with her as she is with herself.
Okay, and Davina hits it on the nail, or the nail on the head, because if you see here, SJWs always lie. Vox Day explains that the SJWs are what they are. They are who they are. It doesn't matter why. All you need to know is that an SJW is an individual who's inclined to thought police, speech police, and even race police everyone around him or her, or they, them, or Fox self or whatnot, and will try to marginalize, discredit, and destroy anyone who fails to conform to his thought policing without sufficient obedience and enthusiasm.
Wait. Are they talking about our current prime minister here in Canada? I'm a little confused.
No.
Nope.
Wow. Oof, no. Sorry. Although that's what's happening there. I mean, you have what did you expect from Castro's son? Anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry.
By the way, that's speculation and humor. YouTube. Okay. Anyway, and still well within the bounds of PG, so we're safe. So yeah, but when you look at this, this is a playbook. This is a playbook that's run from the film industry, the television industry, everywhere. And Davina is 100% right. Good swing. Or Davina. I'm never going to stop saying Davinia, just so you know. Mercante is using the SJW playbook to a T. And these are the 8 stages. Locate and create a violation of the narrative. Point and shriek, isolate and swarm, reject and transform, press for surrender, appeal to amenable authority, have a show trial, and then take a victory lap. Yep. That's the playbook.
Pretty much. And it's what she has tried to do so many times. I mean, she's altered it up. There was the whole there was the whole matter where she just started challenging people to fight, and then the second they said okay, she backed out of it.
Yeah, she's a narcissist through and through.
I think she was worried that Vera Dark would clean her clock, but that's a whole other thing.
Well,
so.
yeah,
I think a light breeze would clean her clock. She looks very frail.
Careful.
Oh,
careful.
I mean, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, yeah. We look in Minecraft because this is a gaming channel in Minecraft. All right, clearly, and I'm guilty too. Space Dave, so don't sweat it. Clearly, Mercante is attempting to target Smash JT. She's pointing out and shrieking at him in social media posts, then she lies in them. And as noted by Smash JT, Mercante repeatedly lies about him while attempting to cancel him. I have never called you a person that... What was that again, Marvin?
Lady of the Night.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Demon of the Night wins.
Garden tool, a proper garden tool. Let's say that. That's libel, Alyssa. The image you present to the public can and will be used against you. I've called you a former cam girl, just as you refer to yourself here. Right there. Interesting.
She has, in fact, called herself that.
Yeah. Interesting. Not only is she targeting Smash JT and pointing and shrieking at him, she's isolating him. Yada yada yada. So we can keep going through.
And then she will then talk about people, and she will say that when they fire back, her thing is you're trying to put together an organized harassment campaign against me and my allies, and we're like, that's what you're doing. You're the one sicking everybody on everybody. Hello, Ron.
And Polybius is out there. Please be safe, dear. I hope you're stationary. 9, play victim. That's right, slow motion. I love it. Your audience is brilliant. Gaslighting. That's correct. Yep. I'm watching the stream on YouTube on my PS4. That's awesome. That is Inception. Or, as Mr. Tickletrunk says, very meta. True story.
Yeah. What's so fascinating about this type of thinking, and I'll just put it that way, is that when it, burns out,
driven,
and it just, erupts and kind of black holes on itself, and all this, type of thinking doesn't work, and it comes back to bite them in the rear end in the end. They still can't admit they're wrong, and they still blame everybody else. It's just fascinating.
The biggest problem is, Space Dave, because you were alluding to it, is you just keep collapsing in on yourself, increasing density, which then increases the amount of mass that has to collapse in on it. So.
It's like a lie upon a lie upon a lie. It never stops.
It's insane. But anyway, so Smash JT says, it is clear that Mercante's action have driven by her jealousy and inability to handle the success of others. As we gear up for San Diego Comic-Con, her attempts to derail our excitement only highlights the pettiness and hypocrisy she embodies. Well, that's well said.
It's also like she is not even going to be at this show by her own admission, and she still has to try to ban people that she doesn't want to be there from being there. It's insane to me.
So let's
just the deplatform.
No. I want to ask you this question, both you and Space Dave, and even the audience out there, guys. Please participate. Why isn't she there? Doesn't she write about games? Isn't she considered a games, well, in her case, urinalist?
Brilliant. I think maybe she's busy.
Why? Go ahead.
Why isn't she going to be at San Diego Comic-Con? Doesn't she cover this stuff?
I mean, I'm totally speculating, but it's possible she didn't get invited, but we don't really know. It's odd that she didn't mention why, and that's always a red flag, right? It's when people say things and don't finish the statement.
Comic-Con has got some very strict rules for press nowadays about, like, you have to have a certain amount of volume like for your website or for your channel or whatever it is before they'll issue you a press pass. It could possibly be that Kotaku no longer meets the requirements because, as we know, Kotaku has been just plummeting in its viewership. However, I would also say maybe she wasn't invited, and also maybe she doesn't want to go because she doesn't want to actually be around the audience because she has nothing but contempt for it.
Yeah, and I think the audience is hitting the same points you guys are. I mean, You got,
she'll probably say, tweet when it's happening. Oh, I felt unsafe going there. That's what she'll play. She'll play that card, I guarantee.
And believe me, I won't talk about her again today, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Because it's Wednesday, and I don't think I'm on a show that would even venture to talk about her. But you're right. The tactics work. The problem is it doesn't increase her stature anymore. That methodology doesn't work. We've learned to recognize the crybully tactics. That's true. In the red is correct. She's irrelevant. Davina is correct. Completely irrelevant. She lost her following. Yeah, you guys are on fire. 100%. Hey, Emerald Productions. The people in charge of her said no this time. That's true. It's true.
I wouldn't be shocked by that. Kotaku probably doesn't want to have to pay to send her out there if she doesn't live near San Diego.
I swear they're looking for a new what is the head person in that organization?
I don't know. But wasn't Kotaku supposed to completely change its model and go back to like game guides and stuff like that? Why didn't that happen? Because her and all of her friends like freaked out because now all of a sudden they had to write about games again, and now all of a sudden that's not happening.
Yeah, sorry, it's an editor-in-chief. I think they're looking for a new editor-in-chief, and somebody that we are all somewhat connected to is applying for it, just in fun. I wonder how that's going.
Yeah, I have to tell you right now, if they were to put that person in that position,
who I'm talking about.
I do. If they were, and by the way, we're talking about Stuttering Craig from Side Scrollers.
Yes.
But if they were to put him in place to replace Riley McLeod, then I don't know. Well, let's see. No. Yeah, I think it's Riley McLeod now. It's hard to say. Because they fired
the editor-in-chief,
Patricia Hernandez.
The editor-in-chief resigned. I believe the editor-in-chief resigned when they said they were going to stop the social justice virtue signaling articles and focus on gaming guides.
That's correct, yeah.
I remember that directive, but did that actually happen?
Because it doesn't seem like it actually happened, but the editor-in-chief definitely resigned over it.
Let me first ask, where are they located? Are they in California? Is that where they're?
I thought they were a New York-based company. They're
either side.
They're part of Go Media.
Okay, so either way, he's going to have a lot of trouble dissecting or disassembling what's been created. The monster.
The positions in the New York office, they're looking for 7+ years of editorial experience in digital media and 5 years of experience as an editor in the game space. I would say both of those qualifications are easily met by Stuttering Craig, since he's been operating successful digital media platform and talking about these things for a long time. So,
by the way, I just looked at Kotaku, the one of the more recent articles up there written by Alyssa McContie. Star Wars: The Acolyte is doing a different kind of fan service, and it rocks. So they are not writing game guides. They are continuing to do what they're doing.
As much as I would love to cover that story, we can't. We're going to focus.
I know we can't.
So
but
I will say
my point is just they're not writing about gaming.
No, that's true. There are 88 of you in the audience, folks. If you could just briefly take a moment of your time and look at that little, it's probably over there or down there, and hit the like button, please.
Don't just hit it. Smash it, man.
Well, or you could lick it too. I mean, gross, but you could. And I'm just going to say that if you do, you will guarantee that, well, you might have a decent chance of possibly getting notifications in the future for our live streams, which will be once a week, every Wednesday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern, I think, right? That's when we started. Pretty sure.
Yes, sir. You are correct.
And we will have varying panels, of course, depending upon whose availability, when they are, and whether or not they broke their foot. That was one of our team members this week. I won't reveal who, but there you are, and there it is. Moving on, folks, please hit that like button and make a comment if you're watching on the replay. Say replay, gang, in the comments. That'd be great. Let's see. According to Slender Dad, I lightly brushed it in a loving manner with my fingertip. I had to cool that down just a little bit. Minimal effort gaming. Thanks for being here, says Smash it, tickle it, hawk something. Yeah.
You can say it because Jonas is in here.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
No, we don't want
It's
to
a PG
He'll fire us
channel,
off.
and he's gonna fire us. I don't
Yeah.
want to get fired. This is the best 2 weeks ever of a job. Come on.
I don't know. Those two words alone, they're not. Well,
When
I know
the boss
Jonas
is
hates it.
away, right?
Yeah, nudge it. Thank you, JB Speaker. You're cleaning it up. Race to the bottom, Kotaku. Yeah, well, I've been on my channel, Culture Casino. I have a channel. He has a channel. Space Dave. Space Dave, are you doing your stuff?
It's in
on your channel?
remission. I was a bit too busy. So.
Okay, well let's get it out of remission, bro. But anyway,
This is my channel. I'm here right now. You've got.
Oh well, perfect. I'm glad you're
Thank
here. You are a major part of the team because you've got all this footage and stuff I don't have time to do. But anyway,
lots more in the can.
I can't wait. But yeah, all of us here have channels, even this guy. But do check them out. I cover this stuff all the time when it comes to the journalist sites and stuff, and whether or not they're going out of business. Like I told everybody, BuzzFeed was collapsing in on itself. If it weren't for Vivek, they'd be dead meat. Anyway,
I'm always amazed that somebody comes and tries to swoop these guys up though and save them, and it still epically fails. Like it's like you can't get, it's like mold in the house that you try to get rid of, but unless you deal with the real problem, and if you know what I'm saying, the real problem, it never goes away. It's just going to come back. So.
True story. All right, we're going to jump on to the next one, folks. Yes. See what I did? There's a little Star Wars reference there.
Do it.
Yeah. All right, let's get on this. We are going to talk about something cool because it reveals some things that maybe aren't so cool, and our last story is going to be brilliant, so we need to get cracking, though. Here we go. Present story. All right. Nintendo is awesome. Nintendo is going to do something great. Nintendo is planning ahead. I wish other consoles would. We're about to talk about the Switch 2. But maybe not the way you expect. Nintendo says that the best way to stop Switch 2 scalpers is to make enough consoles to meet customer demand.
Huh.
First of all,
what insight?
Well, it's
roll the
genius.
Pikachu.
It's surprise Pikachu face.
Yeah.
You know what? I have to make that. Now I have to make that a stinger meme. But anyway,
yeah, we need stingers.
Yeah, but the Nintendo says the best way is to make more. Well, yeah, and I guess according to them, component shortage issue has now been resolved. This story, believe it or not, is actually coming to us from IGN. That's surprised Pikachu face. But we'll move on. Nintendo has said the most effective strategy for beating the inevitable Switch 2 scalpers is to make enough consoles. Yeah, adoy. Okay, so when the Switch launched back in March of 2017, nobody could get them. And then you ended up with people selling them for like $1,000 a piece. Mm-hmm. In recent years, the manufacturer of the Swift was affected by a shortage of components, making it hard to find, especially during the global crisis. But anyway, speaking in an investor-focused Q&A, translated by IGN, Nintendo President Shintaro Furukawa said things will be different when it comes to the launch of the Switch successor. As a countermeasure against resale, we believe that the most important thing is to produce a sufficient number to meet customer demand. And this idea has not changed since last year. In addition to this, we're considering whether there are any other measures that can be taken to the extent allowed by laws, regulations, taking into account the circumstances of each region. Although we are unable to produce sufficient quantities of Nintendo's Switch hardware last year and a year before due to the shortage of semiconductor components, this situation has now been resolved. At this time, I know. Wow, that was like Kermit yay. We do not believe that the shortage of components will have significant impact on production of the successor model. In other words, they planned ahead. I also believe they're probably already manufacturing, but that's just me.
I mean, this will be the first Nintendo console in a while to actually meet customer demand. Because remember, the Wii was impossible to find too.
It was impossible.
It was a hot hit they didn't expect at the time. I think
I had to get my Nintendo Wii through a friend who had a friend who knew a guy.
Yeah,
like
I remember.
I don't know if it
went the same way when it first launched. So
yeah.
Oh boy. Thomas Brown, there is a story that's going to be circulating probably here on the channel about this Dawn Trail story. I think some people are not going to dig that chicken, but we'll get to that later. A lot of it has to do with voice acting. So, anyway. Genesis does what Nintendo don't. Maybe. What are you?
That sounds like a commercial from the 90s.
It does.
It
Josh is clearly working for Andre right now over at Midnight's Edge. Anyway, Argendum says, I saw this on Twitter and my brain stopped for a second. Yeah. Minimal Effort Gaming says, the power of Switch, the power of OLED Switch, the power of Switch 2. Well done.
Power of many switches.
many switches.
100 million.
That's right. Their new Switch controls look like... never mind. Well, they might be ergonomically designed, I'll say. Would they stop sourcing semiconductors from Taiwan? No, I just think that everybody caught up. Think about how many new semiconductor plants are being built now and how many have recently come online. It's a huge expenditure, and they have to be able to be versatile because chip changes are coming quickly.
And to be frank, you can, and I think hopefully they've begun to learn a lesson, is you can't put all your chip factories in one country and do only one or two factories. This is a global thing, and you need to put it in multiple countries so that you have access no matter what is going on in the world. So,
well, because of where raw materials are located, Taiwan was the most efficient place to kind of have everything come together.
Mhm.
So I think that's why that industry kind of sprung up there. And the people that make the machines that make the semiconductors are located half a world away, like in a whole other ocean.
well, I remember a day when Canada and the US actually made their own microchips.
We did.
Silicon Valley was based,
We did.
I mean, started that way.
The highest
ATI, which is AMD now, used to be in Canada and manufactured in Canada. So it's wild.
Some of the highest end and custom chips are actually still manufactured in the original countries of origin. But Taiwan just took over the majority of the high-end chips. And the reason that another country is interested, and this is all within gaming, folks, so it's safe to talk about, but the country that has the most populous population next to India now, they were the first most populous, now they're second. But they basically can do all the basic level chips. They just don't have the ability and the manufacturing sophistication to do the high end, which is why Taiwan is very important, in addition to being part of their thoughts that it's theirs anyway. Anyway, we'll keep going.
I mean, I'm not against Taiwan doing that, but it's a geopolitically dangerous place to pull everything out of. Just
it is.
We got to watch what we say, though, Culture. We have to apologize like John Cena.
Yeah, I won't do that. Yeah.
How Jong-un, John Cena.
I was about to do that too.
Please. Let's keep going. So, Foxconn manufacturing switch to or be made by a different company. From what I believe is you'll end up with that. Foxconn's been closing plants in China like crazy lately.
Are they tired of their technology being stolen? Is that why they're doing it? Or
probably, but no, Foxconn's been moving to other countries, like the most populous country in the world and similar. Manufacturing is leaving China, and we'll leave it there because I don't want to get into geopolitical conversations, but hey, the Switch is going to be widely available, and we'll read more in just a second. Good to see you, Erica. I really want this new Switch with a new Epic Mickey rebrush. That'd be great. Hey, I know this person. Hi, Six. She's wrestling. Minimal Effort Gaming says, I want to know if we have to pay for a second Nintendo Online subscription. I don't think you will.
No, it'll roll over.
Yeah. The Gaming Dude says, I still have my Nintendo Switch and my Nintendo DS, and I play them all the time, and it works good as new. I still have my Game Boy Advance because I went looking for it last night. Carlos,
he said Gaming Dude said he was a wrestling fan earlier. If he is, I've got a suggestion for him for a channel.
Sounds good.
What could that be?
What could I do? Andre's code name is Grandma. Punkwaddle says, I only have one Switch. Speaking of which,
Punkwaddle.
Yeah, your fellow your fellow brethren of cotton.
I love Punk Waddle.
Yeah, he does great commercials for that gameplay. So I'll tell you that much. But yeah, we've got Switch gaming that I really want to lean into, do some live streams. I think playing Mario Golf or I think that's going to be fun. I think of course Mario Kart. Everybody loves Mario Kart.
Challenge accepted.
There you go.
We're really going to have to be careful though playing Mario Kart because I've found myself pulling back and not using foul language playing that because that game is so mean to you at certain points. It's diabolical mean when you're playing.
Yep.
And I have had my instances of outbursts, so I will admit that. So if you got the beep button ready when we go at it, we'll go.
Oh, I think I'm going to be using a series of delays so that I can maybe get one of them to beep. So yeah. So, because I don't think this works. That's not a good beep. If you heard that, I don't even feel you heard that.
We did.
All right, let's get to this. So in May, Nintendo said it will finally announce its Switch successor console within the fiscal year. So at some point before March 31st of 2025, we'll be seeing it. Reports indicated Switch 2 was delayed until the early months of 2025. It was reported by Bloomberg, VGC, and Eurogamer. Sources claim Nintendo had told publishers the Switch 2 was originally planned to be released at the end of 2024, but has slipped into March 2025 at the earliest, which makes sense. And that's a good reason they're giving them a lot of runway to get all their ports ready to release, because people are going to want to play those games on the Switch 2.
I would challenge March 2025. I don't think I've ever seen Nintendo release a console in spring, if I'm correct. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they usually do it in November.
You may be correct, but that would really frustrate people because this was supposed to be out this year.
Yeah. So, well, Nintendo's never been shy about frustrating people with its console.
So true. So true. Yeah. Other alleged leaked details have suggested the device will feature magnetic versions of the Joy-Cons. Thank goodness. And maybe even let players use their old controllers. Also, thank goodness. If these recent rumors are to be believed, you'll also be able to enjoy your physical and digital games on Switch 2. And there you go. So, you can check that out. IGN actually did a good story. Guys, tell me, does this assuage your fears about the console being available to everybody? Like, you'll be able to pick one up this next, not Christmas 2024, 2025?
Either that's going to happen or the scalpers are just going to buy a whole lot more.
I think they'll be available. Canada's never had. I don't think when the Switch came out, we had a lot of problem with inventory. My worry as a tech nerd and a gaming person is what is the upgrade going to look like from Switch 1 to Switch 2? My fear is that, Nintendo has this habit of thinking, like we're into 4K world now, correct?
Right.
It's fair to say that.
Yeah.
Nintendo's into 720p world still. So my fear is they're just going to make a really good 1080p console or a very, very, very poor 4K console. So we'll see what happens. I'm still, in regards to what it will give you for the price, I'm concerned. But I
think Nintendo understands. I think Nintendo understands its audience. I think that's why they don't really put so much effort into like the resolution and stuff like that. They understand that most people playing this are kids, and they're more the family console. They don't and they don't have to compete with the hardware developed by Sony and Microsoft because they're Nintendo and they just do their own thing.
No, I agree with that. And I think their presentation, about a month ago now, was definitely saying that as much, because you noticed that the games were very kiddie, right? There wasn't a lot of adult, I'll put that in quotes, a lot of adult-centric games coming out. So yeah, I would totally agree with that, Marvin. That's probably their goal. So.
Yep, and some people have said in the chat that the Switch was March of 2017, so it looks like they can release in March. That would be good. And maybe they're going to honor that tradition and think it's good luck.
And they sold 141 million units up till March of this year.
That's crazy.
That is insane.
Crazy. Revenar says, sorry, but Nintendo don't that. Nintendo don't that. Well, I hope they get to it because it would be nice. Slender Dad's like, I just bought a Nintendo Switch Pro controller. I never use the Joy-Cons. I use my Pro controller all the time and let others use the Joy-Cons because Dang. It's frustrating.
I got the Joy-Cons, but I have the little thing to like click them into, so that it turns itself into a controller. I don't use them just like regularly.
But even on that, the spacing on the click, like I know what you're talking about, it's not as nice as the Pro controller. I really love the Pro. I think they did a good job. I think they literally stole, I think, Microsoft's basically their controller style, but that's fine. Everybody does, so it's very comfortable with the Pro.
Well, I have to tell you, it sits well in your hands. My favorite controller, this is going to sound weird, is the Steam controller that they came out with years ago that allowed you to play your games anywhere through its little remote box from your whatever you were from your Steam library. Then they created the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck is hard to use, so I like.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Didn't
that controller have some drift problems or some?
There were a lot of things you could adjust on it. I don't recall drift so much, but someday I'll dig it out and show everybody. Actually, I may be able to grab it. It's got dust on it. Talk amongst yourself.
Drift is one of the things that I hate the most in any controller. I think I'm on like my 4th PS5 controller now because just drift has been such a problem with the ones that I've gotten.
Is that notorious on the PS5 now, or
I don't know? It's been notorious in the ones I've gotten. It's just kind of like there's nothing more frustrating than when the game disobeys you.
Yeah, I've been playing. My Xbox Series X controllers are some of them are not reliable either. I think the 360 days were, and probably the PS4 days were a lot better controllers, if everybody would agree with that.
But probably worse hardware because we used to get the red ring of death constantly on the.
I had a couple of those. Yep.
Real quick, I'm going to blow myself up here, gentlemen, and show you. This is the Steam controller I'm talking about. It has pads instead of sticks.
Oh,
there still is a stick.
Wasn't the pads difficult to get used to though at first?
Yeah, it didn't take me more than a couple times in the game, right? So that's what it looks like, right? You have your hat buttons and your triggers right next to each other.
That's common, yep.
And then you have paddles on the bottom.
Oh, so it's almost like the Xbox, the Pro version of the Xbox controller.
Yeah, and you can actually, just like with other consoles, I mean, there's a lot of other things to it. But it actually, I really liked this controller a lot because it felt good in your hands. Its shape is unique with the cup. You see how it's kind of cupped?
Mm-hmm.
The shape's unique, so your hands fall right down in there. You don't have to grip it hardly at all. It just sits in your hand, in the palms of your hand. It's very well designed.
And I'm guessing they don't make those anymore, correct? After they launched the...
I honestly don't even know. I haven't picked that up in forever. It was all kinds of dusty. But, I used to use that thing all the time. So let's see. We got some people in the chat here. Yeah. Button stick on the Elite 2. There you go. Yeah, recalibrate does work. True. Imagine a Switch 2 as powerful as a PlayStation 5. I could, actually.
It'd be tough to get that tech into such a small device because I don't know if people realize how powerful the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X hardware actually is. It's quite powerful, and to stick that in compact is not easy at all.
Erica, I can tell you as a person that owns both, the Steam Deck's great if you like playing PC games. I can even play Cyberpunk 2077 from my Steam library on that. But the Switch, if you like the kitty cartoony games, you'll much appreciate the Nintendo Switch. But you'll be stuck within the Nintendo universe, which means there might be games you'll never be able to play. The advantage to Steam Deck is whatever you put in your Steam library, for the most part, you can play.
And there's like 100 competitors to the Steam Deck now that you can just load the Steam software on. It's like a mini PC, which is cheaper and more powerful than the Steam Deck, I believe. Correct?
Yes. Yes, there are some handhelds that work like the Steam Deck that a lot of people are enjoying out there in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know. The combining a controller and a screen has always been a struggle for me. The Steam Deck, not quite as much, but I just go back to when, even I don't play my Switch handheld.
No, neither do I.
Play it on the TV.
And we had purchased a light, and I found even that small difference of the screen and the inability to dock that system, I got rid of it soon after. It collected dust for the longest time, and then I used it on a trade-in to get another switch for our second switch when the OLED came out. So
yeah. And Slender, I understand that controller just feels good, dude. It's just easy to hold. Really is. Yeah, let's see what else is happening right now. Asus Republic of Gamers. It's the Z-Rog is a new one coming out. See, there you go. Xenoblade is good. I wonder if there will be more on the Switch too. That might swing me to buy it. Hey, Thomas Brown, I get that. I really do. Yeah, and look, they're not cheap, but they're the cheapest console you're going to be able to buy. On that note, we have one more story to get through, which is going to take us a while. Bear with us. You're probably going to want to stick around and pay attention because this one you'll definitely want to have something to say. So here we go. Oh, this is crazy stuff.
Wait, is sweet in the word? Is sweet going to be part of it? Wait.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah. Look, this Sucre Bebe is a problem. And it claimed another studio. Not a big loss. The studio was very compromised from its inception, but Sweet Baby Inc. influenced Tales of Kinzera, Zhao, developer, and begins laying off employees, the developer, begins laying off employees despite previously claiming that boycott did not crush the game.
Mm-hmm.
Bologna sausage. John wrote the story, yesterday. So it's hot off the digital presses. That's the cover for it. Of course, this game also appeared on the Sweet Baby Inc. Detected thing, I believe. So Surgeon Studios, the video game developer behind Tales of Kinzara Zhao, with the help of consultancy Sweet Baby Inc., is now laying off employees.
I believe a lyric in the song that I'm currently working on is, "The industry's mired in your stink, rockabye Sweet Baby Inc." Because my God, are they just dragging these studios down into the abyss?
They've closed more studios than Microsoft at this point, or it's crazy.
Look at you guys. Everybody knew what it was. Is baby in the title? Yes. Wait a minute. The ROG is a Windows handheld, but it's Republic of Gamers, right? Or no? Was I wrong? Maybe not. All right.
Yeah, that's an Acer product, I believe.
Yeah. Kane Infant Corporation, you guys are on it. Another one bites the dust. Ow! That's right. Hang on. Like a millstone tied around a developer's neck. Indeed. Mars Monkey Max says the gameplay is nice. I haven't seen it. I think boycott had some impact, but this is a mediocre game in a market oversaturated by far better Metroidvanias. Kugut. Thank you for that. All right, I hope I said your name properly. As initially reported by Minimal Effort, way to go, Minimal Effort. We love you. Numerous Surgeon Studios employees announced they had been laid off on LinkedIn. Joe Philpott, a 3D environment artist, posted, "Unfortunately, I have been affected by the layoffs at Surgeon Studios. If you or anyone you know is looking for a 3D artist, 3D environment artist with 3+ years of experience and multiple shipped projects in games and VR, I would love to talk more." Now, watch the evolution of these images. This is a cupcake. Let's keep going. Jordan Schmee, a former technical artist at Surgeon Studios, also wrote, "Well, it looks like I'm joining all the people affected by industry layoffs this year, and I am now seeking technical art, environment art positions. If anyone in my network is aware of any openings and can offer any guidance or help in getting me to the next steps, I would sincerely appreciate it. Looking to start ASAP or as close to that as possible." Wait a minute. What's in the cupcake? It looks like maybe an incendiary device. I don't know. Pretty wild.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is crazy, right? Crazy. Yeah. All right, we'll keep
it's
going.
the problem is, I think we're not gonna with something like this, you don't actually see real change for years after the problem happens, because these games take so long to develop. So these companies probably signed on with Sweet Baby Inc. 5-6 years ago, and now thought it was a great idea back then, and now it's just tanking them. And it's going to be interesting to see how many people are working with them 5 years from now.
I don't understand corporate America or whatever, game studios in general, thinking they need to get these type of consultants, because who usually when you have a consultant, they have a proven track record, correct? And coming from the world I come from, you would never get a consultant who is brand new to the industry, or it hasn't some sort of proven track record, and especially has analytics behind them to back up what they're about to tell you, right? So I'm beginning to really believe, like, all this agenda driven stuff, it goes beyond money and it goes beyond making profit. And what it does is it unfortunately affects these people that just have a job and they're doing their job and doing what they're told to do. But the higher ups, I don't know. I have no idea where the logic is ever been behind hiring anyone like this particular band of people to consult on what you should do with your game. Because I mean, we've got decades of history in gaming to show you what sells and doesn't sell. So I'm just baffled by all of this, and it's just me rambling. But I just logically and numerically, in regards to money, I have no idea why you would even make this step in this direction. It's just foolishness to me personally.
Well, it gets funnier. I mean, not for these people. I feel for everybody in the games industry because, boy, we've lost a lot of jobs this year.
And probably some good people, right? Like,
oh,
that
yeah,
have
indeed.
nothing to do with any of this agenda stuff. So.
Indeed, yeah. So, like Pete Brisborn, a former level designer at Sturgeon Studios, posted, "Hello. The chapter entitled Pete Works at Sturgeon Studios is coming to a close at the end of the month." By the way, everybody here is brilliant the way they write their parting messages. He added, "If you're looking for a remote game level content designer with technical Unreal and Unity experience who is quick to learn and whose favorite ice cream flavor is pineapple, then drop me a message. Thanks." Uh-oh. This should have been before this, but this is the perhaps incendiary device falling into said cupcake. Right? And then Phil Smee, I'm going to say it that way, who was a producer at Surgeon Studios, also announced he was being laid off. He wrote, "I'm another casualty of the Wild West industry that is video game development. I'm open to project management roles within the tech and digital industries. Down to chat about any other roles I can help fill. I'm extremely cautious. I'd be extremely cautious, so send me a message and we can chat."
Curious.
Yeah. Did I? Wow, I went full Gary Nerdrotic on that. I apologize. Extremely. Yeah, I'm extremely curious. He's not cautious. Sorry, Phil. Didn't mean that. Yeah. Look at that cupcake. It seems it's about to be very messy there.
Detonation.
That's very funny. So these layoffs come in the wake. We're getting to the heart of the story now, folks. Beyond the humor by these wonderful people. These layoffs come in the wake of the game director Abu Bakr Salim claiming the game's sales were fine after painting himself as a diversity victim and announcing a deep discount on the game. And I checked today. There's a deep discount. And he sends this message. You can watch it on X if you choose. It's linked in the story at That Park Place, which is right there, the sister location of that game place. And this is a needed message. So he would later clarify his video in a thread on X. In the thread, he specifically addresses why he's discounting the game as well as the game's sales. It's not going to get better. First, he offered an explanation as to why the discounted game. Why drop the price of your game? It's our way of making a statement in the face of targeted harassment. Gentlemen, do you think he can cite actual harassment?
I mean, that statement's thrown around a lot, so I always would appreciate the evidence of
Well,
that nowadays. But
it's to the point where targeted harassment, that is what they call informing buyers. Like, you want to say Sweet Baby Ink Detected is literally just a service that allows you to be more informed with where you spend your money. It's, hey, if you don't like this company, these are the games they've worked on. It's not a targeted harassment campaign. It is an effort to educate buyers for where they put their money. And the fact that they keep calling it that is just insane copium.
yeah, I agree. I mean, we don't know the whole story behind what he's saying, and even his statement before. Like, I haven't watched his video, so it's hard to judge what's
We'll
going
keep
on.
going. We'll keep going. He continued. When we hear the word diversity, here it comes, kids. Victimhood assigned. We always think about race or gender as the only factors. This is a very narrow and honestly uneducated interpretation of what diversity can mean. Well, we know what it can mean, and it's not just those things. Diversity is also incredibly closely linked to our socioeconomic positions. Hello, Marxism, capitalism sucks. And the issues we face globally. Globalism, yay. Diversity can also encompass people who struggle with the pressures of ensuring that there is enough food on the table, a roof over families' heads, victim, and all the other elements that are vital in day-to-day comfort and survival, many of which people take for granted because they haven't had similar challenges. When I was a little one,
What does he mean, similar challenges?
I don't know.
I always question these things. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't know. They maybe they just don't know how to turn on a light switch. You don't know. So going forward, as a business owner at this stage, the pricing of Zao is the only aspect I can use to take action. Even this is a difficult thing to orchestrate, especially while being respectful of our partners. Lowering the price of a game is much easier said than done. It's a miracle we were able to action this so soon, and it's largely thanks to the efforts and support of many people on our side and the publishing side. There's some sides. So there's that statement in tweet form. Next, he addressed the game's sales, which we'll get into in a moment. Let's see what the chat says. Do you guys have anything to add?
Copium.
Okay.
I mean, what are the game? Yeah, okay. So you're going to tell us what the game sales are. What does he mean?
I am. He addressed the game sales. He said the game isn't selling well. Also false. I've addressed this on an AMA Reddit, so we'll just take your word for it. Which is Ask Me Anything, if you don't know what an AMA is. The numbers, some are circulating, are a fraction of our actual playership. Have you guys looked at the data? Or we will in a minute. But when you look at what the Steam playership of this is, wow. And they're being shared in bad faith by people who are wanting to provide proof that it's not a harassment campaign, dude. Their consultancy exposure has been successful in punishing us for daring to take up space. Victim.
For daring to take up space. That is the thing. Like, you want us to not exist. No, nobody is asking you to not exist. Everyone loves that you exist. Exist on. Just stop making your existence everyone's problem. Like, or not problem, but like stop pushing the fact that you exist as the core tenet of every piece of media that comes out.
Yeah.
Other people have experiences too that they might want to experience. I don't know. Or maybe they want a completely different experience.
Hey,
we're just creating this homogenized entertainment that's awful.
Sure. And he's largely responsible for that with this game. But just a second, I want to acknowledge that Paul Whitaker got the ketchup off of his food. That's important because apparently he'd covered it in ketchup. I've done that before. Crazy stuff. Kaliki Okedi says, I don't really care if they exist or not, honestly. Well, I just don't want people to just claim victim all the time, but we'll keep going. As for his comments on Reddit, he stated, it was a busy time. We did good, though. It helps being on multiple platforms. It's all about longevity and continuing forward. The more people share and talk about the game, the more it snowballs. So yeah, we hope to continue building.
Building what?
Yeah, I don't know. Are they still working on the game as they get rid of people? Is there DLC or something that's coming? I don't know. I wasn't going to buy the game.
I love generalized statements. They're always fascinating to read.
Well, and this is why John fired back with a tweet. If it's false, show sales numbers. This is not addressing it. And he highlights the area here where it was. It says, hello there. I only heard you in AC Origins, but you were great in something. Answer, did your game sell well when it was released? I admit I was a blank games and I feared this one would be buried beneath the others. And he responds, it was a busy time. We did a good thing. I just read it to you, but there's no numbers there. So clearly the game sales were not fine given the layoffs. That's a pretty decent conclusion, I would guess, right?
Well, objectively, though, a lot of studios will what they call oversaturate or overhire and to push a game out faster. I don't know if that's what happened here. I'm not saying that is, but objectively, sometimes they overhire, and when the game is released, even if the sales are good, if they have no, as you said, if that team isn't needed to create DLC or keep that game currently functioning, and
Right.
they don't have another game in the roster coming out, then layoffs are common. So I mean, maybe that's what happened here, but I doubt it. By game sales, if you don't have the game sales, you don't really know like the numbers. We don't know either way what's going on here. So.
Well, and that's true. I mean, the Steam charts, thank you, Thomas Brown, for the game right now, 232 all time, 25 for the last 24-hour peak.
That says everything right there.
16 as of 15 minutes ago. When I checked these charts yesterday, it was broken. In fact, it's here on the screen what it is at the moment for Steam, or was when John grabbed it. But it's crazy, right? It's just crazy. You have hey, thanks, John. John JID 999 says y'all's channel keeps growing and growing. Well, yeah,
he's a good guy. He's a great guy.
Yeah, appreciate that. Happy y'all succeeding. Well, I'm happy we are too. Thanks for being here and being part of that success. We've got SpartanBot saying Salim helped set up Sweet Baby. I know that. And he was a friend and coworker of SB founders when they were all at Ubisoft Montreal, which they destroyed. Ubisoft is toast. We've got videos coming up on that on the channel here in the next few days. So they were working on AC Origins. Dude can go fund himself.
Francophone. Oh,
yeah.
fund.
Yeah, fund himself. Kaliki Okedi says you just don't want people ruining an industry. I don't want people ruining an industry. I have friends who work in video games. That's crazy.
And you have to consider how many young adults now are at college or university or wherever studying to go into these marketplaces, right? To be level designers, 3D, renderer, whatever they're going into. And just looking at the market right now, like how much they must be like looking at their student debt right now, looking at what's happening in the industry and just pausing as to, did they make a colossal mistake? Because look at what these people have done to the beautiful industry they thought they were going into. And now there's going to be a hyper competitive market with people looking for jobs because of what these people have done to this industry.
Well, and some of my friends, would suggest that you may want to skip, college for these gigs now, because for a lot of these studios, it's not necessary.
That's true. Yeah.
And so you can pick up a lot of these things, Unity, which is very generic. You can use generic assets and make a $2 a game and just have people click on a banana and make money. A little Ponzi scheme or whatever. But you can do, an even better game and stuff like that. You can also learn Unreal Engine. And if you're going to work in media like film, you might want to know that anyway, because real-time rendering is what's happening on all those giant, Craftwork stages and, in the volume. That's what that is. It's real-time,
Yeah, most things can be
Unreal
self-taught now. Unreal 5 is
Yeah.
just a thing of beauty, in my opinion.
Yeah. So you can look over at the statistics and everything else. You've got Twitch stats. Nobody's watching this game being played. That's crackers. You got 9 total people watching people play this, and about 40,000 all time peak. That's not good. Store data is rough at Steam, and owner estimations. How many copies is that? It's 10, 20, 30, 41, 42,
I mean,
43, 44, 40.
This is not
44,000 people bought this game.
This isn't an indie game release, is it? Or
it's a brand new studio that he was one of the founders of, with people that he knew from AC Montreal, as was suggested by, I think, Thomas Brown or someone else. And yeah.
if your goal as an unknown, even if you do have some smart people behind you, is to sell, 1 million copies on your first game out, I think you're living in a fantasy land. I think it's better to start small, have those goals, be an indie developer, because 50,000 units is pretty good, let's say, if you're a small studio. But if you've convinced a bunch of people that you guys are, the best thing since sliced bread, and you spent millions of dollars of other people's money, I don't know that kind of thinking nowadays in this competitive market is a bit foolhardy, in my opinion, but okay.
Well, it is, but let's talk about the effect of the sugarcane infants, shall we? So the game sales were clearly affected by the game being added to Sweet Baby's Inc. detected curator list that effectively acted as a warning list for all games that Sweet Baby worked on. And now it's a larger thing that Cabrutus is doing that's basically, going after almost everything that's DEI destroyed. So the game was added to that list in January. Then the company wrote, our friends at Surgeon Studios dropped the trailer for their upcoming action-adventure platformer, Tales of Kenzara Zhao. We had the utmost pleasure of working with Abu Bakr Salim, and the Surgeon team on this poignant story, which was been heavily inspired by Bantu mythology. We know you're going to love it as much as we do.
Sure you are.
In Tales of Kenzara, Zhao joins Zhao as he journeys through the world of Kenzara to get his Baba back. Joined by an unlikely companion, the god of death. Hang on. That was it.
What now?
The god of death. There should have been a period there, or I wouldn't have read it that way. But anyway, so there's that. So, furthermore, and here we go, folks. Here it all comes together. Furthermore, Salim was a partner with the founders of Sweet Baby Inc., David Bedard and Kim Belair, alongside Sweet Baby Inc. employee and the Squad's Kill the Justice League writer, Amy Lee Shaw, in a company named Bébé Sucre Ltd. Or
it's just French for same thing.
Sweet
right?
Baby, Sweet Baby Ltd. That's right. There it is. Bring in receipts.
They hate it when you point these things out, by the way. They hate when you point out the obvious and the connections. People get real angry about this kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's not a AAA title, but it's a AA title, and it's not like they didn't spend money on it. So,
well, I've never heard of it. So.
Yeah, me neither. This is a relative unknown until this. The only way I ever heard of it was the Sweet Baby Inc. detected stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. The voice actor created the story. It's his indie company. Yep. Yeah, but a lot of people put money into this and their distribution partner
We
as
should
well.
remind
Go ahead.
everybody, Kim Belair is the one who said that you have to threaten people until you get your way
Yeah.
with this stuff.
Yeah,
She's the founder of Sweet Baby Inc. who said that she got the idea from playing Mass Effect 2 when you're able to create your own character, and she was sad because people weren't experiencing her character because they were allowed to create their own.
Yeah, it's
That's
very
Her experience had to be for everyone.
Yeah, I don't really want that. And look, there's a lot of conversations that are going to happen around character creators in the next few days because of some stories that have dropped and some others that will be dropping. What's strange is this company has a lot of public records available to us now. This one here, because it if you notice the currency, it's Great British Pounds, I believe. Is that right?
Interesting. Yeah, I think so.
GBP.
So it's a
looks like
private company.
it's founded in the UK, but if it expands beyond a limited, or if it's part of a bigger incorporation, they will have to report their numbers to Companies House. So the financials will be available for that entity, not probably so much this other one. But anyway, we've come to the end of the article, and I think this one merits a conversation for the next few minutes. This proves, I believe, that these lists where we find these consultancy groups that are working with these companies to basically impress things into games that frankly offend the vast majority of gamers, that because of the fact that they're revealed, as Space Dave pointed out, they hate when they're exposed. That really does change the game, and you will end up having effect on sales and everything else. Do you think that's right?
I mean, realistically, sorry to interrupt, Marvin. Realistically, how many people actually looked at that list? I never did. I heard about it, and I know you guys were talking about it, but I didn't go out of my way to look at it. Yeah, I just don't care. I mean, if I hear the name Sweet Baby Inc. connected with something, then I'll know what to expect, most likely, right? And I won't have a surprise Pikachu face when the game fails, because games they'll speak for themselves at the end of the day. What are the qualities? What is the story? Whether Sweet Baby Inc. is involved or not, at the end of the day, what are you trying to sell me? And am I interested in that purchase? And at the beginning of this whole conversation, we talked about that first article about the guy saying, well, get into your genre basically, and basically, stay in that genre, right? So people are fickle. We're going to like what we like and dislike what we like. So at the end of the day, your game failed. Man up, take it like a man. You failed. You can blame all the people you want, but people were not interested in your game. There have been games out there that have launched under indie titles that have caught on like wildfire because of word of mouth. It's a good game. It's fun, blah, blah, blah. Go play this game. But if you want to blame people for your failures, keep doing it, because at the end of the day, the only person to blame is you and your desire to not take ownership of your failure. And as a businessman culture, how many times have you failed at doing something, learning from those failures until you accomplished something, fantastic. And you manned up when you were doing those failures and said, yeah, I made a mistake, whatever. And I've learned from this, and let's move on, learn and move on. Correct?
And you're 100% right. And here's another lesson that you'll figure out quickly. Even if you have started more than one business, if you've been through all of it multiple times, you were doomed to repeat at least some of the mistakes you made before. So it can be very costly to get things up and running, but no more so than to just be revealed for what you are. In the statement that Kim Belair made at the Game Developer Conference in 2019, Kaliki Oketti drops it right here. Go to your marketing team and just terrify them of what's going to happen if you don't give us what we want. Well, there's a little bit of a paraphrase there, but it's 100% correct. Thank you, Kaliki Okedi.
That's basically what she said, though. It's, you know,
Yeah.
she was talking about I believe terrify was the word, and or giving you what you want. I don't remember exactly how she put it, but it was exactly that. It was, you have to threaten people, and we've seen her and people like Anita Sarkeesian going at, like, trying to basically like blackmail these studios on even on Twitter X, like in public, when Anita Sarkeesian was like, "Oh, you should really bring us on as consultants. It would be a terrible shame if people labeled your studio as sexist."
It's like, the gangs that go around, saying, yeah, you should pay us a little bit of money to make sure your business is safe. It's extortion.
It is 100% extra. They're paying you protection money from cancel culture. That's what they're trying to do. It is 100% a shakedown. But now we're at the point where taking their money is going to backfire on you, because the world has shifted to the other side now, and people are tired of it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I think that's been revealed in an amazing way. And as we as we depart from this subject, I just want to say hi to some folks that just arrived. And if you've just arrived, be part of the replay gang and watch the stream beginning to end. It won't take long.
Don't forget to hit that like button, people.
That's right, just 2 hours. So yeah, we've got some really great stories coming up this week. But I want to give the last few minutes to the people in the chat. SBI is Locus. They strip studios out of every shred of value, and then they move on to the next. That's very true.
On with that point, they've already got paid culture. They have nothing to fear. They took all this money from these studios, probably overcharging them, saying this is what we're worth, draining the accounts of these suckers, and no offense, but that's what you are if you need these people. Yeah. And they walk away making millions of dollars, and they destroy all of these other people.
Whether the game succeeds or fails, whether it makes money or loses it, Sweet Baby Inc. makes its money.
That's right. Continues paid already.
So correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, because you probably both heard this, and I've read this story. But there's a game in a studio out there that was developing Black Wukong. Was that right?
Yes. Yeah, in China, I believe. It's a Chinese independent company.
Yeah. SBI tried to extort $7 million from them. If that story is true, what does that tell you?
Sorry, who was extorting?
So it was a Chinese company. It was an independent game company making a game called Black Wukong, and apparently SBI tried to extort them for $7 million, and Black Wukong refused.
Because I thought you said FBI for a second, but you said...
Oh no, I said SBI. I'm sorry.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, but JB's Spooky Review, I'm glad you're here, says this: GTA 6 is connected to SBI. Yes, they are.
I'm a super GTA.
Is it really?
And I'm worried about that. Very, very, very worried. And the fact, and I am frankly tired. No offense to women out there, but I'm frankly tired of all of the game characters. Like 90% of them, the main protagonists are now female. It's like obvious at this point what game studios are doing, and there's no balance anymore. I don't mind a balance, but this is getting ridiculous at this point.
You know what? Make, like, the last one, we had 3 characters and it worked so well. Why not make one of them female and the other, and just vary it up? I believe there is one other playable character and it is a male, but he's not the one they're focusing on in the materials that we've seen. It's just,
I think it's the boyfriend, correct?
Woke GTA is going to be the worst thing that's ever happened if that is what happens.
And it will absolutely destroy Rockstar. But I would say that Rockstar was already on its way to destruction, and I'm going to tell you why. They had already gotten rid of 2 of the most important people. One of the Hauser's brothers.
Yeah.
Hauser's, yeah. And the other narrative designer that they had. They went off to start their own company.
And they were founders, correct? From way long ago?
Oh, yeah. Everybody at the top until they were acquired by 2K, I want to say, right?
And GTA is such a countercultural game. Yeah. It's very countercultural, and it's meant to be that way. It's sarcastic. It's and what you're doing is you become what you were making fun of.
Yeah.
Right?
And could you imagine, even on the radio stations, everything's going to be a Trump joke. It's all going to be like awful.
Because GTA 5 kind of pushed that narrative of both, left and right. It would make fun of both. Very balanced, I thought.
No, it was a balanced game, and I liked that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was hilarious.
Yeah, and minimal, I think people share this sentiment. I just know people who work in the industry, and they're going to be affected by this because they aren't making the choices to bring in a consultancy group. But I understand where you're at, you know.
Another fear I have of GTA 6, to be upfront, is the multiplayer. Like they're making money hand over fist, GTA 5 still. And I'm not a big multiplayer guy. I get tired of it after a while, but it is this
GTA 5
generation.
online. Yeah.
The way, but if GTA 6 has multiplayer, the way that they are going to police that and the community managers and the Discord, it's going to be insane. Like you thought Helldivers 2 got bad.
Yeah. And this is a great idea. And it's a conversation that I've been having with Jonas about doing competitive streams like Mario Kart. There's a good chance we're going to do that with, people that are members once we get all that sorted. But we're still a little ways away. But yes, I think those streams, because of, Space Dave's, penchant for cursing, we will have to make it PG-13.
I ask forgiveness from the Lord every morning.
You're fine. You're fine. And yes, Kaliki Okedi says the truth out loud. Sounds similar to what happened to Rocksteady. Yep, the two founders left, and you ended up with Kill the Justice League, which destroyed a studio. You're going to start seeing this. Yeah. You're gonna start seeing this. But on that note, we are about to close down shop. We had a great time in the arcade, folks. Thanks for being here for the 1,000 subscriber celebration. On to more. I think we're almost at 1,200. And if you're not subscribed, look down below. Look over there. Whatever device you're on, turn the little red subscribe button to gray. And if you didn't already hit the like button, please do so. And check out the amazing panelists that we have here today, as well as the whole team for That Game Place. But because they're here, I'm going to let Space Dave say a little bit of promotion on whatever it is he wants to talk about. Space Dave, take it away.
Thank you very much, Culture. Right now, for this channel, ladies and gentlemen, I am reviewing it's a retro remake called The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, and so far I'm having a good time. I've got a lot to say about it. I hope you guys enjoy that review, but that will be up hopefully in the next week because the game is a bit longer than I expected, but that's good. I'm getting value for my money. So you guys keep your eyes peeled for that, and hopefully that'll go up in the next week or two on this channel.
Woohoo!
And I appreciate these opportunities. And I'm going to plug Marvin. Marvin, every time I see you on one of these panels, I smile. You are great. Great.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that.
All right. And that was the magical voice, followed there, of course, by Marvin himself. Marvin, tell everybody about your great channels and, the other stuff you do.
Sure thing. So Tooneytown TV, our newest channel, been about a month old. We're already pushing 2,000 subscribers. We are on the countdown right now. We're about 80 something away last time I checked. So come on down, check us out. We do reviews of things like The Acolyte, TV reviews. We're going to be covering The Rings of Power pretty extensively. We do song parodies. We got a song parody about Leslie Headland. We got one about Kathleen Kennedy. We got one about Rings of Power that's done, and I'm just kind of waiting for it to be more topical to put it out. Daily content over there. And tonight we have got Toonie Talk TV at 8 p.m. over at the Tooneytown TV channel, where we're going to have a live stream. I know myself, I'm going to be there. Kevin Apollo is going to be there. I believe Lou Wasserman's Ghost has said he's going to stop by. Usually, yeah. So, I mean, you never know who's going to stop by these streams, folks. So stop on in. We've also got Tooneytown Wrestling, which I'm working on the latest episode of the Headlock Headlines, a signature comedy show where we have puppet characters, including Triple H, Tony Khan, Dave Meltzer, and a lot of other wrestling personalities. So make sure you tune in for that as well. And thanks for coming along on the ride with me. And of course, subscribe to That Game Place because I'm here all the time.
And he kind of is. I don't have any control over that. He has the keys now. Yeah, it is what it is. But do check out all the great videos we just dropped. We dropped one last night. We'll drop another one tonight. We're not stopping. Every weekday, you can expect an 11 p.m. Eastern launch, if not sooner, because we may move it sooner. And we may add a second video each and every weekday. Because, hey, there's a lot of game stories out there, and they're doing fantastic. We love what we're seeing from that Park Place and all the games coverage they've been doing and some other sources as well. So stick around. If you are just here or you're watching on the replay, make a comment down below, hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed, turn on all notifications, and until our next live stream, see ya.